Since the Giants signed quarterback Daniel Jones to a long-term deal earlier this week, there's been a great deal of talk about whether or not the Giants overpaid for Danny Dimes. So let's talk about it with the Giants beat reporter for the New York Post since 1994. That's my guy, Paul Schwartz. Paul, how's everything going?
Everything's good. You and I should be so lucky to get some guaranteed money and some bonus money the way Daniel Jones did this week, right?
Yeah, that would be nice. We're going to have to talk to the bosses about that. We'll see what we can get done. But, Paul, you talked about the guaranteed money. 4 years, $160 million extension is the deal that Jones and Big Blue agreed to. Now, some have reacted to Jones' annual average salary of $40 million per year. But when examining this deal, should we be focused on the guaranteed money here? Is that what we should be doing?
Well, Joe Schoen, the general manager, made it clear the other day that, both sides, had a compromise, and both sides had things that were very set for and against, and they had to come to a meeting. Now, clearly, Daniel Jones's side, Daniel Jones's camp said, we want to average $40 million a year, right? So, look, I'm no math major. I don't know if you were, Dexter, but 160 divided by 4 is 40 million, right? 40 million a year. That's what he got. Oh my God, is Daniel Jones worth 40 million? But you have to look at this deal. $47 million in 2026, the fourth year of the contract, is not guaranteed, okay? That's 46 million in base salary. It's 500,000 in a workout bonus and 1 million in a roster bonus. So I misspoke. 47.5 million is not guaranteed. So you subtract that, because guaranteed money is what's important. From 160, you get 112.5 million. So this is essentially a 3-year contract for 112 million. Do the math, 37.5 million a year. Now, that's good money, but I don't think any Giant fans would have gone ballistic if they said Daniel Jones is getting less than 38 million a year. That is kind of the ballpark figure. And you know what, Dexter? We shouldn't discount that fourth year, but you know what? After 3 years, if it's not working out with the Giants and Daniel Jones, they can cut him. And that $47.5 million never goes to Daniel Jones. If after 3 years, Daniel Jones is playing great, you know what? They're going to rip up that last year and they're going to extend him. He'll only be, 27, 28 years old at that point. So I think both sides got what they wanted. Let's face it, Daniel Jones got $82 million in guaranteed money. That's guaranteed. That's his. That's great. $36 million in a bonus. Great. But to call this a 4-year, $40 million a year contract is just not accurate.
All right, so you got to break it down with the numbers so people can understand it, and Paul did that right there. And as you said, Paul, this deal seems like it could be good for both sides. So is there more pressure on Jones to live up to his contract, or on Joe Schoen to get his QB some weapons?
You sent me that question beforehand, and I said, And, it's a good question. It really is. There's always pressure. Dexter, you follow all the sports. Once a guy gets paid, there's all of a sudden pressure on him. Now it's Daniel Jones, $40 million a year. Okay, we said maybe it's not really 40, but that's it. He's the $160 million man. There is always pressure. He's not just the first-round pick who, Danny Dimes, we like him. He's done some good things. Now he is a guy who they label as a franchise quarterback. There is no question the pressure rises. He can't throw 15 touchdown passes in 2023 the way he did in 2022. But this is a two-part deal here. And Joe Schoen said, we want to move and build around Daniel. Now comes the building part, right? So they need a number one wide receiver. They need help in the interior of the offensive line. Saquon is signed to the franchise tag. They'd like to get him done, 3 or 4 year deal with him, but maybe they need backup help at running back. They need more. They need inside linebacker. They need a better team. Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll, head coach, are not mesmerized by the fact that they went 9-7-1 and won a playoff game. They're very realistic what this team is, and this is sort of a middle of the pack team that won a lot of close games, that now has signed their franchise quarterback, and they need more talent. They need a number one cornerback in my mind. So there's a lot, free agency in the draft. There's a lot on the Giants wish list. So there is really pressure on both. Okay, we got Daniel. Now he's got to live up to the contract. And now the general manager who signed Daniel has got to make this team better. Don't forget, last year they had very little salary cap money. They had to go shopping in the bargain bin in free agency. This year there's more money. Joe Schoen has to make it work with some real influx of talent here.
Yeah, I think that's fair there. Pressure on both sides. Jones to live up to the contract, and for Shane to bolster this roster. We'll see how that all shakes out with free agency. You know who will be on top of it? The Giants beat writer since 1994 for the New York Post. That is Paul Schwartz. Paul, always good to talk football with you. Thank you for your time, man.
All right, Dex, take care.